Let me tell y'all a story that starts with a locked gate and ends with a war. So picture this. I'm standing in front of a shiny new steel gate, tall as a truck, with bold red letters screaming, "Private access, Belmont Hills, HOA, only now." This wasn't just some little sign saying, "Do not enter." No, this was a blockade, a statement, a challenge. And here's the kicker. I didn't even belong to the HOA. I'm Travis Cole, 46, former Army combat medic, now a full-time rancher, living just outside of Cotton Ridge, Texas. This land. It's been in my family for 3 generations, long before a single cookie-cutter house in Belmont Hills popped up like mushrooms. After rain, I grew up riding fence lines and fixing irrigation before breakfast, and now some suburban committee wants to fence me out. They claimed my ranch hurt property values, said the sight of livestock, dirt roads, and actual nature made their neighborhood look less premium. But the truth, this wasn't about aesthetics. It was personal. See the HOA president, Martin Brandt. Slick hair, pressed polos, permanent Bluetooth in his ear. He used to work in real estate development. Tried to buy this ranch from my father 10 years ago to build a luxury golf resort. Dad said no. Martin never forgot. Now he had power, and he was using it like a scalpel. Quiet, calculated, and cutting deep. I found out the fence they'd built cut across the only paved access to my ranch. Worse, they had hired private security to guard it. I tried driving through that morning with my tractor, and they threatened to call the sheriff. I wasn't about to end up on the local news as rogue, cowboy attacks, security guards. So I backed off. But I wasn't done. Oh no, that was just round 1. Instead of fighting fire with fire, I filed paperwork. You see, half the road they blocked. It ran through a public easement, legal gray area, and in Texas, that meant one thing. I could apply to register it as a public toll road. I did my homework, paid the filing fees, and had the city clerk stamp that approval, like she was blessing a revolution, and then I built it. A proper toll booth. Painted it barn, hired a couple of neighbor teens to run it. Slapped on a sign, public road. $4 per entry, cash only. I even added a little flower pot to soften the vibe. The first day it opened, chaos drivers confused kids on golf carts screeching to a halt. And there stood Martin Brandt in his Tesla, red-faced and sputtering like a tea kettle. He barked something about calling the mayor. I just pointed at the sign and said, "Welcome to the Belmont toll gate." And business boomed. By the end of the week, we'd collected over $1,200 in tolls. That's when the war really began. Martin came back this time with a clipboard and a city official in tow. Claimed I was running an illegal operation. I handed M. The permit laminated and notarized. Martin's hands actually shook when he read it. "This isn't over," he hissed. He was right. Next thing I knew, someone lit the toll booth on fire at 3 a.m. I caught it on security footage. Hooded figure, red gas can, quick getaway, no faces, no plates, just smoke ashes. And the sound of coyotes howling like they were mourning with me. But I didn't whine. I rebuilt it. Stronger. This time with steel-reinforced walls, solar panels, floodlights, and a backup generator. I added a new sign: arson suspects will be prosecuted. Cameras rolling 24/7. A week later, Martin tried a different tactic. He held a press conference, claimed the toll road caused emergency delays, said an ambulance had to detour 15 minutes because of me. That was a lie. The paramedics had my cell number. I opened the gate myself when old Mr. Henderson from the neighborhood collapsed in his car. I even rode in the ambulance with him. He made it, by the way, but the media spun it. Suddenly, I was the reckless rancher endangering lives. My inbox blew up. I got hate mail threats. One guy even mailed me a dead possum. I don't know what the message was supposed to be. But my dog ate it. Then came the final straw. One night, I caught someone trying to saw through the new fence at the back of my property. My cameras caught him clear as day. You know who it was. Cameron Flack, Belmont Hills. HOA's treasurer, the same guy who once brought over muffins and said, "We hope to be good neighbors." We handed him over to the sheriff. He confessed everything said. Martin paid him $300 to sabotage the fence and make it look like I was unsafe. Unstable a threat to the community. We had audio, we had fingerprints, and we had motive. But the HOA wasn't done. They tried to dissolve themselves, thought it would erase liability, classic move, but I was ready. With help from a non-profit legal group for veterans, I filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of affected residents, folks who'd been fined, unfairly bullied into silence, or had property damaged. We named every HOA board member, especially Martin. Public opinion shifted fast. Local news picked up the story. Donations poured in. And then came the twist no one expected. I turned the ranch into a non-profit. The Coal Creek Veterans Retreat for soldiers, firefighters, and first responders needing a place to breathe. With federal recognition came new legal protections. Suddenly, Martin wasn't just harassing a rancher. He was trying to destroy a government-backed sanctuary. The media ran with it. Veteran fights, HOA builds hope. By the time we got to court, we didn't even need a full trial. The judge ruled in our favor, reversed all HOA actions, awarded damages, and opened criminal investigations into multiple board members. But I wasn't done with a federal grant. I announced plans to build 5 more retreats across the state. And the first one, the Martin Brandt Education Center, dedicated to teaching future HOAs what happens when you let power go to your head and forget who really built the land you're trying to control. Now, the ranch is thriving. Every weekend, we host bonfires, trail rides, and quiet moments for folks healing from things most people never see. The toll booth, it's still standing, repainted, solar-powered, and free to all veterans. But to Martin, it still costs $4, and I hope every time he pays it, he remembers you don't fence out a man who's fought harder battles than paperwork and petty rules. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever clashed with an HOA or seen one go too far? Maybe you've got your own story of standing up to local power plays. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Because these communities They're ours. And it's time we remember who they were built for.